Thank you so much for joining me for another segment of Beauty and Style by me, Erin Bradley. I hope you're having a great weekend so far, and today is actually kind of a special day. I have a Zoom date with a whole bunch of my industry friends, and our theme this week is disco. We are going to attend virtually online a quarantine kitchen party by DJ Chris Pointer, and it's disco. So what better time to pull out some makeup and do a disco dramatic makeup? Here we go. So for sure today we're going to want to do the eyes first. We're going to be using a lot of dark colors and glitter, so we don't want that falling down on our skin, especially if we've done foundation and concealer first. So definitely do eyes first. So here we go. So I'm going to start. We're going to start with this. So this is actually like a black eye paint that is waterproof. So Makeup Forever has this great product, and we're going to just go in and put a little bit on my hand like that. And we're just going to go in and use this as the base for my eyes. So instead of having to use a lot of black shadow or a dark shadow to build up the color, I'm going to go right in with this. Now, it dries pretty quickly, so you definitely want to work fast. The heat of your fingers will blend it in a little bit. No, you won't get a perfect edge. You can use a brush to buff that, but we're going to use some shadows after. And bring that right up. And because I have descending eyes, when I look straight, a lot of that shadow disappears. So I want to bring it up high enough that it's still going to be able to come out. And if you've got too much on one finger, just switch to another clean one. And just stipple that base in. Now it's not going to look pretty to start. This is just the base. So we are going to be going over this with lots of color and blend out the edges. But we first want to get just a really good dark base down. Because those disco days, they were not afraid of makeup. And don't be afraid for this kind of look to pull it right out. I mean, they did makeup right out to their hairlines and just went for it. Okay, so there we've got our base. So I'm just gonna go in and clean up my fingers. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in with some color. So I am using this blue color right here, and I believe it's called Deep Truth from MAC. I have no idea if they make this color anymore, but it's great because it's got like a nice kind of pearly finish to the blue. It's almost similar to the blue background, the glitter that I have here. So we're gonna go in with this, and we're gonna use my nice round crease brush and go in and work the color. Now, when you're working with a lot of dark colors, you probably will make a little bit of a mess. So have your handy It's always good to kind of set back and kind of like see where the angle and everything is falling. Sometimes you get in too close and you just keep going and going and going, but it's good to sit back and see where the shadow's being placed. For that outside, you still want to like kind of blend up and over, and then you can softly drag out whatever's left on the brush at the outside to get more of that wing kind of taper and blend that edge of that black. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and add some liner underneath. So I'm actually going to use that same dark blue color, and we're just going to use a nice like fine angle brush and go in and do some of that underneath the eye. But I want to keep that cat eye, so we're going to keep it a smaller line. So we're using this awesome glitter by Stila. It's called Molten Midnight, and it's this really great kind of blackened with a bit of gold sparkle in it, and it comes with this nice little wand, and I'm just going to use this to add some dimension to that lid. Okay, so now we've added some glitter. So now we're going to add a little pop of color. There was lots of disco pictures that I looked up that really like to accent with some color either across the lid or do like a bright color eye. But I'm actually going to go in with this Teal Pigment from MAC. And I'm going to go in with this and just do a little pop of color on the inner of my eye. So I'm just going to use from the lid. Go in with a really nice small brush. So this is just a nice small 219 brush from MAC, and just a dab will do ya. And this is disco. You don't be afraid of makeup. Like, this is definitely the most makeup I've worn in a long time. Maybe, and definitely not a day look, but super fun for a Zoom date. Now I'm gonna bring this down underneath as well. Okay, so now that we've done the teal accent, I'm gonna go in now with my light color. So this is the first time I'm using an actual highlighter, and I'm gonna use it to just kind of soften the edges. So I'm using the MAC Vanilla Pigment, and again, just using a small dab off the lid with a fluffier brush to just soften and make sure those edges aren't blotchy. Now, this is definitely the kind of look that it looks weird until you have mascara on. Whenever you do a smokier eye, I find the eye just kind of looks like it's floating until it's got the dark base of mascara or liner. And you can always go back in with your crease brush if you need to blend. So after you've gone in and finished doing your blending, you can go in with your makeup wipe and clean up under your eye all of the excess that you don't want. And you can even use this to kind of clean up and create the angle you want for the outside. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's a lot of makeup. All right, here we go. Let's do some skin. So for skin today, I'm gonna go in with my Elate Refresh foundation and my Quo blender brush. There we go. Our skin is prepped with the foundation. So now I'm going to go in with some concealer and get rid of under eye circles and any blemishes. So I'm going to use the Becca Under Eye Brightening Concealer. You definitely want to make sure that if you're using your fingers again, they don't have blue on them because that's not going to help your under eyes. So I'm using a clean finger and just going in and stippling. Very careful not to go over too much that teal. So now we're gonna go in and set that. We've done the concealing. I'm gonna use my Elate loose glowing powder with my big multi-use brush. And we're gonna go and just set that. Just stipple, make sure you're stippling over any blemishes. I'm gonna blend a little bit down on my neck. I got a little bit of sun this week, but my face didn't. So just gonna make sure. Get an even base. Okay. So now that we've done the evening out of my skin, I can go in and start giving some contour. So 70s, they definitely had some nice like bronzing looks and really great cheekbones. So I'm going in with my favorite Marc Jacobs bronzer, the Tantastic. And we're gonna use this and we're gonna contour my cheekbones. So using the MAC 170 brush, again, using mostly just like that lower part of the brush. Starting in the center of the ear. So just adding a little bit of color to my neck to connect my face and my body. A little bit on the top part of my forehead just to give more, because anything dark sets back, anything light comes forward. So if I darken these areas here, it will make this area look a little bit more oval. So it just softens the angles of my face. Okay, there we are. So I'm gonna do a fairly like neutral lip today. We're doing a very strong eye, so I'm just gonna keep it softer. So for blush, I'm just gonna pick a very like neutral pinky brown, just to go with something that's close to my lip color. So I'm going in with this color right here, which is Harmony from MAC. So it's got a little bit more of like a brown in it, but it still has like enough of like color and a pinky brown base to add color that's different than the bronzer and the brown tone it is. Great, blush done. Now we're gonna go in and give some highlight. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten about brows. We are gonna do that. So we're using the Marc Jacobs shimmer stick, the glow stick. I'm just using my finger. And we're just gonna add some highlight. I mean, if I was going to a disco, I think my own natural highlight of sweating would come out. So I doubt they used that much highlighter, but we're adding some today. Gonna add a little bit to my inner eye. Like that. Okay. So now let's do some brows. So I've done all my foundation stuff. I'm gonna do a little bit of a stronger brow today. So I wanted the foundation to be underneath it instead of going over top of it and wiping it off. So first step is definitely to go in with the Anastasia Brow Wiz. Going in with blonde, just to add some definition. Okay, so now that the brows are done, let's go in and do the rest of my eyes. So I'm actually today, I am going to put some liner on. I wasn't going to, but I think if I'm gonna do lashes, I might as well. All right, so for the liner, we're gonna go in today with the Trooper Black by KatVonDee. It's got a really nice like fine tip on it and it's waterproof. It's waterproof. So I'm just gonna start in with a thin line, because we don't want to see where the lash band goes on the lid. So especially that inner part, if you're doing a full band, you want to make sure the black carries all the way to the inside. And there always seems to be one eye that doesn't always blend as well. This eye for me today is having a bit of trouble, having trouble blending it a little bit, and it's tearing. So that is possibly going to happen. Do less underneath, and you know, you can always go back in with your shadow, your dark brush, to blend the edges and then soften it with your highlighter brush. So I'm just going to work this a little. But my hair goes over this side anyways, so not worried, not too worried. Okay, so now that we've gone in and done the liner, now we get to do some mascara. So let's find my lashes. So I'm going to use the IT Cosmetics 3-in-1 Tightline mascara primer first. So now what I'm going to do is go in with my mascara. So I opened a fresh one, so now I only have one new one left after this. There we go. Okay, so let's add some lashes in. So we're gonna let that mascara dry. And I'm just gonna go in. Now these Wispies, these Demi Wispies from Quo are quite thin. Like I don't want anything too thick and dark because I want to be able to see that color and bit of sparkle on my lash line, like on my lower lid. So we're gonna go in with the Duo Glue. Now these ones I've used already, so I've already measured them. But you want to make sure that you measure them first before you put glue on them. So if you need to cut them, and always, like, you know, keep them from the outside of your lash and then just see where they fall. You don't want them cutting too close to the inside of your eye. You could even skip lashes for this look or just do an outer half. But because we've got so much dark on there, yeah, you just don't want to overdo the dark. So just putting a little bit of lash glue. And I like using the white one so that you can see it a little bit better, and it also doesn't like leave any black smudges of glue anywhere. So I'm just gonna let this dry a little bit. It's a lot of makeup. It's very dark. Okay, so we're gonna go in and use, I'm gonna use my mirror. So we're gonna go in and use this to put the lashes on. So I'm gonna look down in the mirror as opposed to looking like straight in a mirror. Let that dry. Make sure the other one's setting properly. And if it ever feels uncomfortable, you can kind of like, once the glue is dried a little bit, like stretch it out a bit. Sometimes it gets a bit tight feeling across your lid. So you can kind of like pull the lashes just to like stretch the glue out and loosen it a little bit. You don't want to pull it off, but you just want to loosen it. Sometimes it's best to wait until the glue is mostly dry. And you can always like press them into your lashes as well. Okay, this should be dry and ready. So all of that white glue that you can see along the lash line there will dry clear, and you'll be good to go. You can always go back in with a little bit of black liner to clean up the edge if you want. Now let's add some lips. So I'm just going to keep it fairly soft today. You could go in with a more dramatic lip, but I tend to try to focus on my eyes. So for this type of look today, I'm going to do a really neutral lip. I've gone really heavy on the eyes, so I'm going to keep it a little bit softer on lips. Now in the 70s, they probably would have paired this with a red lip, but for today, I'm just going to keep it softer. So this is actually a limited one from MAC. It was a Viva Glam Rihanna 2. So I'm going to go in with this. It's got some really nice kind of like glitter multicolor in it. So it's got like a bit of a purpley undertone. So let's pick out some of that blue. Like that. Nice and sticky. Perfect. And now, last but not least, I've got my disco jumpsuit on. I'm gonna add some disco earrings. So, got some fun kind of gold, kind of long chainy earrings. They kind of seem to disco to me. Okay, so there you have it. There is your disco dramatic makeup look. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you stay tuned for more makeup tutorials. Have a beautiful day. Bye.